On this Friday night, the white Christmas that came a day too late.
And no one's plowing the sidewalks or anything.
Treacherous travel conditions in parts of Ontario, flight disruptions, and whether any relief is on the way. Surveying the damage from California's severe downpour. The warning to residents about what they may have to do. What does it mean to be a man in 2026? The mission to redefine masculinity after the Me Too era.
So we focused on women reaching the top of society, but we haven't worried about the young men that are getting left behind.
Plus, attention online shoppers.
What should I get for my 12-year-old daughters?
What artificial intelligence has in store for you this Boxing Day.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Tracy Tong.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. From the Great Lakes to New York, a massive winter storm is throwing a wrench into holiday travel. At Pearson Airport in Toronto, more than 600 flights have been canceled or delayed, according to FlightAware. The mix of snow and freezing rain is also making driving treacherous as the storm pushes across the continent. Sean O'Shea has our top story.
The skating rink in front of Toronto City Hall. Until a day ago, there was no snow in sight. That's all changed. A white Christmas didn't happen. Instead, the weather delivered a blustery Boxing Day. The CAA suggesting people stay home if possible.
To reschedule those parties, reschedule that shopping for another day.
December 26th is usually a busy one on roads. For those who had to venture out for work,
The roads are really bad and people are driving crazy.
besides the heavy snow making it tough to get around, add in a soupy weather mix of freezing rain and ice pellets, making surfaces slippery. And just walking a straight line was no easy task.
It's very, very difficult in this weather. The wind and everything. And no one's plowing the sidewalks or anything. It's just really hard.
It's really snowy and I'm really cold.
Severe enough to cause flight delays and cancellations. Environment Canada had issued a yellow-colored snowfall warning, predicting 8 to 12 centimeters of snow around Toronto, a challenging amount in a populous city.
The problem is here that people don't know how to drive, don't know when to stop and how to stop.
It's really about limiting those distractions, being aware of like the traffic and the space that you have in front of you and the other vehicle.
Challenging drive. Let's be easy in this roads.
And while many people find weather like this difficult, others just accept it.
But you know, it's a winter, it's Canada, and we have to cope with that.
Oh, it's beautiful, it's Canada. Hey, you don't like it? Get out.
The forecast calls for more icy, snowy weather into the weekend. Sean O'Shea, Global News, Toronto.
In Quebec, the bodies of a man and a child were recovered on Christmas Day after their tractor broke through the ice and plunged into a lake. It happened northeast of Montreal. A family member called police after watching the tractor fall through. The man and child had been clearing a path on the lake at the time. A severe storm that's battered California since Christmas Eve drenched the region with a third round of wet weather today. Close to 450 millimeters of rain has fallen in some of the mountains outside of Los Angeles, causing flooding and debris flows. At least 3 deaths are now linked to the storm. And as Neetu Garcha reports, the flood risks will continue into the weekend.
In the hard-hit mountain town of Wrightwood in southeastern California, where relentless rain and mudslides have buried homes, some residents are getting a first look at the damage.
Oh my God, I can't even get to the garage. Oh my God.
Torrential rain sent mud and rocks rushing into houses. Some are filled with more than a meter of debris after saturated ground gave way.
This is a refrigerator from the neighbors.
Authorities warned people to be ready to evacuate as conditions remain unstable.
The sediment is all the way to the top because the wash behind just completely overflowed. Wrightwood is an incredible community, whether it's floods or fires or now this, they really pull together and they're out helping each other.
Emergency crews have been responding to high water and mudslides. Officials report firefighters rescued more than 100 people in Los Angeles County Thursday night.
Look, more water's starting to come.
In some areas, rainfall rates were more than 25 millimeters per hour, according to the U.S. National Weather Service.
That's my house right there.
Remember I said it was like 6 feet deep? That's the drop. And this once was, the street how we got out of our house.
Farther north, the storm knocked out power to thousands.
Christmas by candlelight, you know, had to eat the cold stuff, but what the heck? You have to do what you have to do.
At higher elevations, fresh snow blanketed parts of Northern California Friday, with snowplows working along interstate highways to keep roads open on one of the busiest travel days of the year. Forecasters say daily rainfall records have been broken in several areas. Conditions are expected to improve gradually, but the flood and mudslide risk could continue into the weekend. Neetu Garcha, Global News, Vancouver.
We have some breaking news from Ukraine's capital. Several powerful explosions are being felt in Kyiv as the city is under a massive Russian attack. Authorities are warning people to stay in shelters as air defenses are in operation and missiles are deployed. Moscow is ramping up its attacks over the holidays, saying it captured a new village in the southeastern Zaporizhia region today. All this as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky prepares to travel to the U.S. this weekend to meet with President Donald Trump in a diplomatic push to end the nearly 4-year war. Mackenzie Gray reports.
There was no holiday break from Russia's war in Ukraine. 6 people, including 2 babies, were hurt in this attack, according to the local government. One of many strikes across Ukraine on Christmas and Boxing Day. While attacks like this have been an everyday occurrence since the war started in 2022, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is showing some optimism a deal can be found soon. Telling reporters in a teleconference, to be honest, the 20-point plan we have been working on is 90% ready. With a deal this close, Zelensky will be heading to Florida on Sunday to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump. There are some issues that only we as leaders can discuss. We will talk about security guarantees. Those guarantees would come from the U.S. and EU, similar to Article 5 of NATO, which states an attack on one is an attack on all, something Canada is also willing to participate in.
So we're helping to create the possibility of a lasting peace there through security guarantees and other support.
The Russians are very unlikely to agree to those guarantees and other Ukrainian concessions around territory, with Russian President Vladimir Putin spending his day discussing how much Russian weapons manufacturing has increased.
It's not a question of alignment.
The meeting will not include the Russians, but Zelensky had hoped other allied countries could attend in person. The Prime Minister's office telling Global News Mark Carney will not travel to Florida, but he did speak with Zelensky on Friday, where his office says he emphasized the need to maintain pressure on Russia to negotiate. On the streets of Kyiv, there's little belief that will happen. I think nothing will change. It will simply be a visit, this pensioner says. I believe Russia has no intention of changing anything. Negativity ahead of a meeting that could end the war and redraw the borders of Ukraine. Mackenzie Gray, Global News, Ottawa.
Nigeria's government says it cooperated with the United States in the airstrikes targeting Islamic militants in that country. The attack on Christmas Day hit sites in the northwestern state of Sokoto. U.S. President Donald Trump says the strikes were aimed at the so-called Islamic State, which he claims is primarily targeting Christians in Africa's most populous nation. But Nigeria's foreign minister says the operation had nothing to do with a particular religion. And data suggests militant attacks are targeting Muslims and Christians alike. Redmond Shannon reports.
A Christmas Day airstrike that Washington says targeted militants affiliated with Islamic State in Nigeria. Footage shows the fiery aftermath, with local people recovering debris.
Some people thought it was an aircraft that fell down, but unfortunately it wasn't. Glory be to God, there was no loss of life.
After strikes in Syria and Somalia, this is the third U.S. operation claiming to target Islamic State in a week. U.S. President Donald Trump called it a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians.
They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
Trump had been threatening an intervention in Nigeria, accusing its government of failing to protect Christians. However, militant attacks blamed on Islamist groups and criminal bandits have had devastating effects on Nigerian Christians and Muslims over the past 15 years. Just on Wednesday, at least 5 people were killed in this attack on a mosque. Nigeria's government said Thursday's joint operation had nothing to do with a particular religion.
So I think Nigerians generally welcome this strike.
This Nigerian security analyst notes that most Islamic militant activity is far from where Thursday's strikes took place, but its government will take any perceived win.
Broadly speaking, it was in Nigeria's interest to welcome the United States, to come help launch that strike, given that they were also willing themselves to do it.
While thanking Nigeria's government for its support, the US War Secretary Pete Hegseth said there is, quote, more to come. Tracy?
Thank you for that, Redmond. Well, in northern Israel, 2 people were killed in what police are calling a terror attack. Authorities say a Palestinian assailant crashed his vehicle into people, then drove about 12 kilometers and stabbed a woman. A 68-year-old man was killed and a 16-year-old boy was injured in the car ramming. An 18-year-old woman died in the stabbing attack. Police say the suspect from the occupied West Bank was shot and wounded by a civilian at the scene and taken to hospital. 8 people were killed in an explosion at a mosque in Syria today. At least 18 others were injured. Authorities say an explosive device detonated inside the mosque during noon prayers Friday. An ultra-conservative Sunni Muslim Syrian group has claimed responsibility. An anti-government militia in the making. Coming up, the major national security investigation into an alleged terror plot in Quebec. One of the biggest criminal investigations of the year centered on national security. Back in July, 4 Quebec men with ties to the military were arrested in an alleged terror plot. They're accused of building up an anti-government militia and trying to seize and control land. The men are set to appear in court early next year. Taria Isri has been tracking this story since it broke. She looks back at the investigation, her interview with one suspect's father, and the questions that have yet to be answered.
RCMP stormed through this door in coordinated raids. The first stun grenade came in here, Philippe Angé-Audet told Global News last summer. Police swooped in on his property west of Quebec City and arrested his 24-year-old son. Simon Angé-Audet is one of the 4 men charged. He was a former Canadian Armed Forces member. Raphaël Lagacé was a civilian instructor with the Royal Air Cadets. Matthew Forbes and Marc-Aurèle Chabot were serving members based at CFB Valcartier.
The individuals that were charged with the terrorism offense were trying to seize land in the Quebec City area. In this case specifically, Instagram was used.
Canada's spy agency alerted the RCMP in March 2023 about an account called Hide and Stalk, or HNS, and a potential national security threat. That triggered a years-long investigation into the group that police believe is motivated by an accelerationist ideology.
An accelerationist group in the far-right context is one that believes that some sort of conflict or life-changing conflict is imminent. And as a result, they want to accelerate this life-changing or watershed moment, usually through an act of violence.
Hide and Stalk members allegedly held training exercises in Ontario and Quebec. Unaware undercover police were also taking part. Investigators were listening too. Unsealed court documents allege Chabot, the de facto leader, went on a podcast and warned of another Waco-style massacre.
This is really a horrible sight.
Referring to the deadly 1993 standoff between U.S. federal agents and a religious cult. On July 8th, police moved in, arresting the 4 Quebec men, seizing a cache of explosives, night vision goggles, and dozens of firearms.
The infraction of terrorism has a maximum of 14 years of imprisonment.
C'est sûr, vous savez. On peut pas accepter ça.
It's hard. I can't accept this, said Philippe Audet.
Pour des fausses accusations.
He called the accusations false, claiming the RCMP framed his son. Angers Audet, Lagacé, and Chabot are behind bars, while Forbes is out on bail.
The significance of this investigation lies in the fact of how far along this group was in terms of their planning and execution. We know a lot of the who and the what, but we don't know enough about the how and the why.
This November, prosecutors laid additional charges against Chabot, the alleged ringleader. He's now accused of instructing people to carry out terrorism, which carries a possible life sentence. Taria Isri, Global News, Montreal.
What does it mean to be a man? Ahead, how a new generation is rewriting the definition of masculinity. The term toxic masculinity has become more common in recent years. It essentially glorifies traditional beliefs and behaviors like dominance, aggression, stoicism, and misogyny. But little has been talked about how to make masculinity healthy. Sarah often introduces us to some Canadian men aiming to be good role models and shatter old stereotypes about manliness.
Whether navigating life on campus or finding their footing in a tricky job market,
check out the logo, guys.
Adolescence in the 21st century can be a little emasculating.
I live at home, and even with my lawyer salary, I'm probably going to stay at home for a while.
Canada has more women participating in the workforce than ever before, but the post-Me Too era has also left some unease about what it means to be a man.
So we focused on women reaching the top of society, but we haven't worried about the young men that are getting left behind.
This masculine anxiety has become amplified, particularly in social media spaces or in the manosphere.
The manosphere is a corner of the internet capitalizing on a man's fractured sense of self.
I do 10 IU every other day.
Women are not built to provide for men at all.
So how can we have these conversations that transcend these echo chambers or insular spaces, so it becomes something that those men who we easily isolate and stigmatize, they can also have opportunity to come to the open and say, these are my fears, and these are my grievances, and these are my anxieties.
Enter Next Gen Men, a Canadian nonprofit offering programming for schools, male-dominated workplaces, and elsewhere, trying to redefine masculinity.
We all know there's a mental health crisis that young people especially are facing, and we're seeing that boys especially are facing that crisis with the fewest resources and the most stigma attached to seeking help and talking about what they're going through.
An Alberta-born bodybuilder and literary scholar knows those struggles well.
I'm a very sensitive individual, and as a man, maybe at times I saw that as a weakness, but I think it's actually really a strength.
A message that seems to be resonating with hundreds of thousands of followers, grateful for a role model breaking gender stereotypes.
People assume oftentimes that I fit a certain mold that I don't. You don't have to embody everything that people will assume about you. You can be a progressive, open-minded, loving, accepting individual, even if you don't look like one.
Sarah Offen, Global News.
Is your Boxing Day bot-powered? Next, how AI chatbots are changing the way consumers shop and save. West Edmonton Mall was packed with shoppers this morning looking for Boxing Day deals. Stores have traditionally used the day to clear out leftover holiday inventory. And despite some shifting shopping habits, it remains the mall's busiest shopping day of the year. And speaking of those shifting habits, artificial intelligence has now entered the world of online shopping. And tech giants are banking on AI to revamp the way you buy things on the internet. And Gaviola explains how and the ethical questions being raised.
From Microsoft's Copilot to OpenAI's ChatGPT to Google's Gemini, chatbots are now part of the shopping experience.
It's going to insert itself into the consumer decision-making process and start to assist consumers, particularly with ideation, discovery, search, and even evaluation.
My 14-year-old daughter is in need of a new computer, so we're trying to find her a new laptop. The school said it's time for a new one, so we're hunting for some of the best deals.
This holiday season, Amazon is pushing its Rufus generative AI shopping expert.
You can ask Rufus things in natural language. You can ask it, what should I get for my 12-year-old daughter's stocking? And it'll give you back great recommendations that are personalized to you, what it knows about you and your shopping behavior.
Billed is a step up from traditional search. These new shopping helpers are customizable and intuitive.
You can ask it to help you shop on a budget and give it that price range that you're looking for.
Analysts say AI tools are rudimentary now, but with improvements, consumers will trust them more and more.
Right now, it's not going to be a big piece of the pie, though. But it might take 2 or 3 years for people to sort of get comfortable with it.
But big questions remain about how these helpers choose what to show you. Unlike search today, where ads are clearly marked, chatbot top picks may be based on who's paid to get product in front of potential customers.
The way Google works, Google will tell you this is an ad versus this is organic. Will ChatGPT do the same thing? I don't know.
Anne Gaviola, Global News, Toronto.
Well, that is Global National for this Friday night. I'm Tracy Tong. Tonight's Your Canada is Port de Grave, Newfoundland and Labrador. We love seeing Your Canada, so please email your pictures to globalnational@globalnews.ca. Thanks so much for watching. Anne Gaviola will be at the anchor desk tomorrow. Have a great night.